Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Hazim Farhad bin Rosman. My matric card number is 2020999895. What is a trade dispute? According to Industrial Relations Act 1967, meaning of a trade dispute is any disagreement between an employer and employee that result in industrial action and is related to the employment or non-employment, term of employment, or working condition of employee. Besides that, industrial relation is any collective action by a workers to force their employer to accept or not term of condition of effecting employment that may have an impact on the term of a contract. Industrial relation refer to action that affect or is like to affect the term of condition of employment and is taken by a group of employees jointly or under a common understanding in effort to force their employer to accept the term of condition of employment. So this agreement may be related to more than that, just the employment term in the sense of the contract provisions. So it may have to do with anything that a person experiences while working.
And next is for the condition that has led to a trade dispute in our country. As for the first condition, that is the refusal of any employer to accord recognition. Recognition can be defined as by giving acknowledgement toward others for their behavior. As an example, that could be given as a compliment or gifted an award toward the worker. It could be recorded as a recognition toward them, which why recognition is also needed in work, which employees that have put much effort and lot of work toward their company or organization needed this type of recognition, as they would also believe that appreciation should be given toward them as the compensate as recognition for them. They also believe that when employer that does not recognize their worker effort, it would start a bad situation and a mood in the organization that set between the employees and the employer, because there are a lot of cases around the country lately that's able this type of argument to happen. As of for worker would believe that nowadays in this generation, worker living in work like slave toward the employer and does not even taking any recognition against them. As for the second condition, it is the disciplinary action taken, which are considered as unfair, as the management of the employer do have the authority and the power to act of disciplinary towards their worker as a punishment or to teach them. Yet a lot of them that is the employer would still be able to take the disciplinary ahead toward the employees a little bit too ahead, and might cause a dispute amongst the worker in the organization or the company, because the misuse of employee to conduct the measure that are detrimental to the business and employee is known as abuse of the power. As there are also several clauses in the Employment Act 1955 EA that concerned by taking disciplinary action in progressive manner. It is need, because if an employee act with due to care in taking disciplinary action, there won't be an intervention from the court.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ainida binti Azman. My number matrix 2020772651. Today I will present about benefits and contribution to Malaysia in by use trade dispute. industrial relation refers to relationship between employers and employees in the work environment. In Malaysia, this industrial relation provide important benefit and contribution between the management and employees of an organization, so that the working relation between the two parties is a good condition. In industrial relations system, there are three main industrial operators, namely employees who are members of a trade union, employers, and the government. One of the benefits of this system is the enhancement and enforcement of laws and regulation on industrial relations. The main laws relating to industrial relations in Malaysia are the Employment Act 1955, Factories and Machinery Act 1967, Trade Union Act 1959, Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994, and the Industrial Act 1967. However, there are some industries classified under essential service, which stipulate the certain industry relate to the daily life of Malaysians cannot go on strike based on normal procedures. Necessary service under Industrial Relations Act 1967 empowers the government to prohibit strike, temporary life off, and block the industrial essential service. The reality is, in industrial relations, there will be conflict that exists between the two parties. Therefore, this relation is actually not based on cooperation alone, but also driven by the existence of conflict.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Daniel Nazmi bin Khairul Nizam. I am from AM1105A, and I would like to present about the effect if Malaysia did not use trade disputes. Okay, in Malaysia, imports, which tend to closely mirror export patterns, reveal a similar pattern. In February 2008, imports climbed by around 11% and they increased by more than 10% in June and July 2008. Since imports of intermediate products are necessary to match the production of exports, it seems sense that they would decrease together with exports. As a result of the decline in the United States, Japan, and Europe's, which is the Malaysia three main trade patterns, robust export demand, it was inevitable that Malaysia export would follow the suit. Next, exports and the industrial output index are two economic indicators that demonstrate on how the present crisis is affecting the economy. The export results for 2008 declined near the end of the year after doing strongly during the first three quarters. Export growth was 10.4% in January 2008 and more than doubled to 20.9% in April 2008. However, a negative number was published for October 2008, only for the statistic to get worse as the months went on. A drop was seen in December 2008 and it got worse in January 2009. Will unavoidably be impacted by the rising trade tensions because of its small size and open economy. Trade, income, and investments channel can be used to evaluate effects of trade disputes of the economy. Malaysia will be predominantly impacted through the trade channel, with overall trade accounting for 131% for GDP 3. Malaysia's exports are anticipated to suffer both direct and indirect effects, including slower production along the global value chain and decreased demand from impacted nations.
The point of case 1. In our present case, we can see that trade disputes are essential to any dispute between employers and employees relating to employment or employment or term of employment. The point of this case can be seen with the problem of employers not complying with the 2000 minimum wage order. In the concept of minimum wage, according to the definition of the International Labour Organization, is the minimum wage that should be paid to employees for work and service performed in a certain period, either by individual or through a collective agreement, granted by law and prescribed aims to meet the minimum living needs of workers and their family based on the socio-economic conditions of a country. Malaysia implemented of the minimum wage policy on the 1 January 2013 and has joined more than 150 other countries that have implemented minimum wage law. Therefore, through this policy, the minimum wage has been set at RM900 per month for the peninsula, which cover local and foreign labour, except for the domestic service such as maids and gardeners. The policy introduced RM and ensuring that the basic needs of employment are their family are met, rewarding, protecting them from being exploited and encouraging them to move higher in the value chain by investing in technology and increasing productivity. In addition, according to the Ministry of Human Resources, following the increase in wage of workers in the peninsula, Malaysia has been involved. The minimum wage policy has involved almost 1/3 of the workforce. This can be seen in the average wage of workers in the country will benefit from minimum wage policy. For this analysis of case, our opinion is this case is that the action taken by this dispute we do not quite agree and mostly from the court that has made its decision, but the hotel employer reserve the right to restructure their salaries and change part of the service charge payable. The implementation of this minimum wage also has a negative impact of employees. The employer had to reduce or lay off employees in this business. This is because the employer cannot afford the high cost in this business. Moreover, this case can make the employer bound by the rules. Employers have to follow the implementation of the minimum wage in their business as this rule is subject to the Act. This can be evidenced in the Books of the Employment Act 1995, Selected Order and Legislation printed by the International Law Book Service. In this book, it's written that the employers need to implement this order and needs to restructure the salary. Therefore, the Employment Act 1995, where each of these acts and ordinance has set the minimum wage in Sabah at RM800 in the peninsula, RM90 However, the employer can maintain the original salary of each employees according the employment contract made previously.
Cases of Malaysian airline system Berhad versus Ismail Nasaruddin bin Abdul Wahab. The cases about the unfair dismissal between employee and the company. Point of the cases. A notable feature of the present proceedings is that the respondent claimed that he was dismissed without just cause and executed by his employer pursuant to Section 20 of Industrial Relations Act 1967. He was dismissed without just cause and exercised because he exercised his right as the president of NUFAM by making a press statement to voice concern over the plight of 3,500 cabin crew of MAS. It is the appellant position that The respondent was dismissed because he had breached the term and condition of employment. The industrial court dismissed the respondent application for unlawful dismissal. The task of a court in proceeding alleging a contravention of Section 4 and 5 of Industrial Relations Act 1967 is to determine why the employer took adverse action against the employee and to ask whether it was prohibited reason or reasons. Such a proceeding should not be resolved in favor of the respondent. Analysis of the cases is to consider whether there was a trade dispute between Nufarm and the appellant. The issue raised in the press statement have been prolonged for some time and the respondent efforts to resolve the issue amicably have not been successful. Nufarm was established under the collective of agreement, so there is no dispute here between Nufarm and the appellant.